In the previous videos, we simply sent static text to the ViewMarq display. What if you want to update the display in real time with things like time or counts or temperature or fluid levels, etc.? Do you have to continuously resend all that formatting information over and over and over again? No, you don't. The good news is you can use variables with the ViewMarq, and it's so easy. You just set up the formatting once with placeholders for the variables. And then later, all you have to do is send the variable, and the ViewMarq will format it and put it where it belongs automatically. Let's see how that's done. Over in the ViewMarq software, we create our message. Let's see, we're using a 4x12 display, and our unit has an ID of 1. On the first line, we'll display the number of units completed. So we type units, and then we hit this button to insert a numeric variable. We choose one of 32 possible numeric variables. We choose number 1 right now. How many digits will be needed, how many decimal digits will be needed, and you even see an example of the result right here. In our example, we're going to pretend that the factory can't produce more than 100,000 units per day. So we'll need 6 placeholders for that, and we're producing whole units, so we don't need any decimal digits here, so I'll dial those down. This is what our final result will look like, 6 decimal digits. When we go to set the variable from the PLC, we'll want to copy this string right here. That's the one that actually sets the variable. We'll come back to that later. For now, let's just insert this variable into our string, and we can see how it looks. Now, one thing I like to do, I'm going to double click on this to go back to the dialog, is I like to set the leading zeros. That way I can see visually how much space it's going to take up on my display. To display time down here on line 4, we use numeric variable number 2. We only need 2 digits to display the hour, and we don't need any decimals. Again, I'm going to use the leading zeros. We'll add a colon. Another numeric variable. We use number 3 now. Only need 2 digits for the minutes and no decimals. Another colon. And our last numeric variable for seconds. We use numeric variable number 4 here. Again, he only needs 2 digits for the seconds and no decimals. I forgot to add leading zeros, so let's go back and do that. Let's add a few features to that. Let's leave the units green. We'll make the numeric variable red, and let's make all of our time yellow. While we're at it, let's make this whole line 4 inches so it'll show up a little better. And let's make sure that the time is center justified. Perfect. Let's copy this formatted string to our clipboard, and note that this formatted string is less than 256 characters. Over in the Do More software, we send the initial format string just like before. We use a string print instruction. We'll put that in string long 0 because we know it can handle up to 256 characters, and then we just paste our string in place. We add our termination character, an end quote, and a beginning quote, just like before, and say OK. And again, just like before, we do a stream out. We want to send it out the internal serial port, and we want to send that string long variable we just created out that port. We only need to do that once. We'll do that on the first scan. And let's update our unit count, how about 10 times a second. To do that, we copy the string that updates the variable from the ViewMarq software. Here it is. I just press the copy button, and it copies that string to my clipboard. Go back to my Do More. Use another string print instruction. We use a string short variable because we know this is going to be less than 64 characters, and paste it in. As usual, we need to remember to put our opening quotes, our end quotes, and don't forget to set the unit ID number to your ID. Is there any reason we can't set all the variables at the same time? This is our count. Let's go ahead and copy this and add one for the hours, minutes, and seconds. The count was in string variable 1. The hours variable 2. Minutes were in variable 3. And seconds were in variable 4. Now all we have to do is insert our variable. This n is a placeholder. So we're going to close down the string, put our variable that has the count in it. We use V100 in this case, and then open up the string again. Variable 2 is hours, so we close the string. We grab our hour and open up the string again. Variable 3 was our minutes, and variable 4 was our seconds. And don't forget to add the termination character. Now we just need to send that string out to the ViewMarq with a stream out instruction. Again, we're looking at the internal serial port. We're going to send SS0, and we're done. We want this to run at 100 milliseconds. And let's go ahead and just increment our count every 50 milliseconds just to give us something to look at. And while we're at it, let's give ourselves a way to reset the count to 0. That's our whole project. So on the first scan, we're going to format the display and send it out. Then every 100 milliseconds, we're going to create a string with just variables in it and send that out. We have a 50 millisecond timer incrementing our count, and we have the ability to clear that count if we want to. Well, let's try it. We'll accept that, save it, and write it to the PLC. And just like that, we have our real-time count and time showing up on our ViewMarq display. If I reach down and toggle X7, it resets my count. Perfect. And remember, all we're doing is updating the variables. We don't have to regenerate all that formatting over and over and over again. The ViewMarq does all of that for us. Very cool. Well, that ought to be enough to get you going. Please let us know if you have any questions. Automation Direct's customer support is always free and just a phone call or email away. Spend less, do more with Automation Direct.